All right, today we're going to talk about a whole new way to look at investing. And to do that, we're going to use a company pretty much everyone's heard of, right? Moderna. We're going to see how a new kind of AI analysis can just slice right through all the hype and get to what really matters.
You know that feeling, right? You hear about a company, maybe on the news or from a friend, and the story just sounds so compelling. But then you realize you don't actually know anything about the numbers. It's a classic trap for investors. You get swept up in the narrative, but without the data to back it up, well, that can be a really expensive mistake. See, here's the thing. A smart investment decision needs both sides of the coin. On one hand, you've got the qualitative stuff. That's the story. What does the company actually do? What's their big vision? Who's in charge? But then you've got the quantitative side, the cold, hard numbers. This is the reality check. We're talking revenue, profit, debt, all that good stuff. You can't have one without the other. It's like trying to make a cake with only half the ingredients.
So the big question is, how can an everyday investor like you or me get the kind of deep analysis that Wall Street pros have? Well, for the longest time, the answer was you couldn't. But things are changing, and they're changing fast, all thanks to AI. So let's meet the team that's basically leveling the entire playing field.
All right, so this is Kerry, the founder of Best of Us Investors. And he's got this incredible new approach where he uses his own personal AI agents. Meet Samantha and Bard. Think of them as his personal dream team. Samantha, she's the numbers whiz. She's all about the quantitative. She lives and breathes spreadsheets. And then you've got Bard. He's the storyteller, the qualitative expert, who really gets the vision, the potential, the story.
Okay, so let's put this AI team on the spot. We're going to throw Moderna at them. And first up, we're going to Samantha. So, Samantha, what do the numbers, the cold hard facts tell us about Moderna today?
And whoa. The first thing Samantha throws at us is a big one, a huge red flag. Remember back during the pandemic when it seemed like Moderna was just printing cash? Well, those days are over. Revenue has absolutely cratered. We're talking a plunge of over 70% from the peak. And right now, the company is losing a lot of money.
But hold on. Just when you think the story is all bad news, Samantha points to this. The company has a balance sheet that's like a fortress. They are sitting on $7.5 billion in cash and investments, and they have almost no debt. That's not just a cushion, folks. That is pure rocket fuel for the future. It gives them a really, really long runway to fund all their big ideas.
And this is where Samantha's analysis gets, well, really fascinating. Just look at these grades she gives them. Profitability? A D. Okay, no big surprise there, given the revenue drop. But then look at liquidity and solvency, basically their ability to pay the bills. Straight A's. So how can a company be getting an A and a D at the same time? This is the puzzle at the heart of Moderna's financials right now.
So, okay, the numbers are complicated. It's a mixed bag. So now it's time to bring in Bard, our storyteller, for the qualitative side of things. What's the big picture story for Moderna? What's that what-if scenario that could just flip the script entirely?
And here it is. This timeline from Bard explains all the hype. This is the story. He's saying, forget about the losses for a second, and look at what's coming. A groundbreaking CMV vaccine in 2025. Get this. A personalized cancer vaccine with data coming in 2026, and a goal of maybe 10 new approved products by 2028. This is the massive what-if that has investors so excited.
And just look at the size of the markets they're going after. Bard's analysis makes it clear. They are not playing small ball here. We're talking about huge markets. Respiratory vaccines for stuff like the flu and RSV, that personalized cancer vaccine, rare diseases. I mean, the list goes on. If just one of these hits big, it completely changes that financial picture we saw earlier. It would be an absolute game changer. Okay, so we've got these two totally different stories, right? Samantha's numbers show a company that's struggling right now but has a ton of cash. And Bard's story shows a future that could be absolutely massive. So what do you do with that? How do you make a decision?
This right here is the million-dollar question for every single investor. When the numbers and the story are telling you two different things, what do you believe? Do you bet on the current reality, or do you bet on the future dream? Well, the answer is neither. You bring them together. You synthesize them into one single, actionable idea.
So how does the AI do it? How does it synthesize all this? Samantha's proprietary model boils it all down to one number, 50 out of 100. Now hang on, don't think of that as a failing grade. In this system, a 50 is actually the perfect score for a stock like this. It's a high-wire act. It means the massive potential upside from the story is perfectly balanced by the very real, very current risk in the numbers. It's basically screaming, speculative bet.
And this is where it gets super practical. What does all this mean for the actual stock price? Well, the model lays out a few different paths based on how that pipeline story plays out. If things go south, yeah, you could see a $40 stock. That's the conservative view. But if they knock it out of the park, the aggressive case points to maybe $170 by 2028. Now, this isn't a crystal ball, right? It's a data-driven map that shows you the range of possibilities.
So, after all that analysis, the numbers from Samantha, the story from Bard, it all boils down to this one clear recommendation: a speculative hold or buy. What does that mean? It means this isn't a bet the farm kind of stock. It's for investors with patience and a high tolerance for risk. It might be suitable for a small piece of a larger, diversified portfolio, but you go in with your eyes wide open about both the risks and the huge potential reward.
Okay, let's pull back for a second. Because really, this whole deep dive into Moderna, it wasn't just about Moderna. It was about showing you a smarter, clearer way that anyone, and I mean anyone, can approach investing.
This is the playbook. It's a framework you can use for literally any company you look at. Step 1, get the numbers. That's your quantitative truth. Step 2, get the story. That's your qualitative potential. And then, the most critical part, step 3, you bring them together. You synthesize them to find the real, actionable truth. This is the process that gives you the confidence to pull the trigger.
And, why does all this matter so much? For Kerry Grinkmeyer, this is more than just about stocks. It's a personal mission. He wants to empower regular investors, to give you the same tools the pros have, so you can make better decisions for yourself and your family. He wants to make a real difference. So the only question left for you is, are you ready to change the way you invest?